Hello, friends. We welcome to Legal Breeze. Today, we will be discussing about one of the important constitutional body, namely the Finance Commission of India. You may ask me, if I say about Finance Commission of India, is there any something about Finance Commission of the state? The answer is yes. You have two different Finance Commission. Originally speaking, at the commencement of the Constitution, our constitutional framers have given only one Finance Commission for throughout the country, that is National Finance Commission or FCI, Finance Commission of India, constituted under Article 280. On the other hand, by virtue of 73rd and 74th Amendment, when we have given the Panchayat Raj institutions and municipality institutions at Nagar Palika level, urban level and rural level, we have constituted, the Constitution of India has created or constituted or mandated to constitute Finance Commission at state level so as to supplement the resources to the local governance institutions. So therefore we have two Finance Commissions. One is Finance Commission of India, which is applicable throughout the country. Second one is Finance Commission of the concerned state, which is applicable only to that state. Of course, the Finance Commission of the state is subservient to the National Finance Commission or Finance Commission of India. This one should remember. But both of them happen to be constitutional bodies. That also we should never forget it. The qualifications of the Finance Commission of India. Who can be the member and chairperson? These qualifications have not been prescribed by the Constitution, but it has been left to the discretion of the Parliament by the Constitution. So that can be prescribed by the law made by the Parliament. Currently, Sri N.K. Singh happens to be the chairperson of the 15th Finance Commission. The 15th Finance Commission has given its recommendation. That is why we are speaking about or dealing about or discussing about the Finance Commission currently. So, when you prepare for the GS, particularly for your civil service, this is very important. For that matter, any other competitive exam. So, Finance Commission can be constituted at every 5 years, at expiration of the 5th year, or sometimes if the President deems fit, even earlier to that particular period, can be constituted. And after the commencement of the Constitution, a 2-year time period has been given. Within 2 years of the commencement of the Constitution, the first Finance Commission has to be constituted. Thereafter, at the expiration of the every 5th year, the new Finance Commission has to be constituted by the President. Unless situation warrants, so you can create little early to that also. So general period is 5 years to the members and the chairman. What is the powers and functions of the Finance Commission? This has been prescribed under Class 2 of Article 280. Please remember Article 280 and 281 speaks about the Finance Commission, its powers and functions, and the nature of its recommendation. What needs to be done by the President. These are the two solitary articles. These articles are located under Part 12 of the Indian Constitution. So it says that it should the distribution of the revenue. The distribution can be classified as vertical and horizontal. Vertical means between the center and the states, then down to Panchayat Raj institutions. Center, between the center and the states, and within the state, between the state government and the local self-governments. This is vertical. Horizontal means among the states themselves. Okay, this is also feasible. Now, what it could recommend? The net proceeds of the tax and duties. This is very important. So, when you are being asked a question, only tax and duties, and that too net proceeds of the taxes and duties alone can be shared between the center and the states. So you cannot share the revenues arising out of surcharges, cess, toll, etc. Only revenues arising out of taxes and duties alone, and that to the net proceeds. What is net proceeds? Which has not been explained under Article 280, but the preceding article, that is Article 279, speaks about what is amounting to net proceeds. Say example, when the central government collects the tax, income tax, for collection of rupees 100 as a tax, the central government incurs rupees 20 as expenses, then the expenses should be deducted. Then what is the amount remaining out of 100? If you deduct rupees 20 as expense, 80. So whatever expenses you are incurring for the collection of the income, after minus the expenses, whatever amount is remaining, that alone is treated to be net proceeds. That is how the term net proceeds have been defined, and that is how the net proceeds have to be calculated by the central government. Now, who will certify this is the net proceeds? Again, this is a very important question. The Finance Commission cannot determine what is net proceeds. It is the CAG, the Controller and Auditor General, shall certify this is the net proceeds arising out of the so and so revenue. Once that has been determined by the CAG, based on that net proceeds, whatever shall be distributed between the center and the state, that will be recommended or that will be determined by the Finance Commission. So the CAG and the Finance Commission has a close linkage between one another, but their duties are different and clearly demarcated by the Constitution of India. Okay. The taxes and duties, revenues arising out of the taxes and duties can be distributed. What else can be distributed? Right? It can recommend the grant in aid, which is chargeable from the Consolidated Fund of India, can also be recommended by the Finance Commission. Please remember, whatever cess which is being collected by the Government of India, which never goes to the Consolidated Fund, it goes to the particular department. Say example, we have an income tax. Under that we pay cess for education and cess for higher education, chargeable under the income tax. But whatever is being collected from the citizens as an income tax, that goes to the Consolidated Fund. Okay? Whereas whatever amount is being charged as cess, that never goes to the Consolidated Fund, that goes directly to the HRD Ministry or Education Ministry. Thereafter it is up to the central government discretion. But that cannot be distributed based on the recommendation of the Finance Commission. To put it differently, other revenues arising in the form of cess, surcharge and other things is outside the jurisdiction of the Finance Commission is concerned. Okay, so I have explained to you what can be recommended for the purpose of distribution by the Finance Commission. The third thing we have told about between the center and the states. Now, by virtue of 73rd and 74th Amendment, it can also recommend devolution of funds to the local self-governments by way of augmenting the consolidated fund of the particular states. Okay, that is also important. But this power cannot be exercised by the Finance Commission of India directly. This power can be exercised by the Finance Commission of India based on the recommendations given by the concerned state Finance Commission. So this is very important. Okay, recommendations are given by the Finance Commission. What is next? To whom the recommendations can be made by the Finance Commission? Finance Commission can make its recommendation directly to the President. It is a duty of the President to lay down the recommendation before both the Houses of Parliament along with the action taken report. The government is bound to explain what action it has taken or it is proposed to take based on the recommendation of the Finance Commission. Generally, the Finance Commission recommendations will be given due weightage in the normal situations. If it is not accepted to the government or acceptable to the government is duty bound to provide explanation to both the Houses of Parliament. Ultimately, everything is reported to the Parliament and everything is accountable to the Parliament, particularly to the Lok Sabha. This is one should keep in mind. Now let us come back to the 15th Finance Commission recommendation, particularly to the local self-government. The 15th Finance Commission recommendation has certainly made a watermark or watershed, whatever you may call it. It's a historic one because it has recommended a big quantum jump from 0.4% to more than 4%, about 62,000 crores, something like that, to the divisible pool of the Panchayat Raj institutions and municipalities. This is very important. This is one plus of the recommendation of the 15th Finance Commission. What is the minus? This 15th Finance Commission recommendation is criticized on the ground that it has not given due weightage to the performance-based incentives, which was followed up to the 14th Finance Commission recommendation. Now, it has done away with the performance-based incentives to the PRIs, but it has given importance to the population-based PRIs. Based upon your population, you will be given more funds rather than based on your performance. This is very, very bad tendency. That means you are punishing those who are following the family planning or population stabilization. Say, southern states like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, all these states may lose because they have stabilized the population growth. To put it differently, population growth is very lesser here. But states like UP, Bihar, they are not at all doing anything economically good, and they are also not taken any serious steps to control the population growth. But these states will be given more revenues rather than to the performing states. This is very unfortunate one. This can be referred in the language of Justice Chandrachud ji as a doctrine of indirect discrimination. This attitude, I think the Finance Commission should stop. And Finance Commission shall not be partisan, it shall not be politically guided, it shall be guided economically, because it is also one of the important mandate given to the Finance Commission that it should make the necessary recommendation so as to create sound finance, in the interest of the sound finance of the country. In order to create sound and viable financial prudence, the recommendation should be given rather than promoting based on the political objective. Because this policy of the central government is that it always wanted to favor the North India, particularly the UP, Bihar, all these things, because it is population based. Their vote bank is also there. This is what critics are believing. So the Finance Commission shall not give room for all those things. It should be very impartial and independent. We hope the good sense prevails over upon the respective stakeholders. If you have any clarification, if you want to have clarify any doubts, please you can please put it the same in the comments box. We will love to answer you all those things. I would like to thank all our student friends who are taking active part in this initiative. Thank you all. God bless you. Jai Hind.